Hi everyone, it's me, Arielle, and it's Wednesday Warriors, and today I'm really excited about the topic because I get to talk about alternative therapies, like art therapy, writing, creative therapies like dance therapy, just alternate ways that you can help yourself. This is a topic that I know a little bit about. I'm obviously not a therapist, so I can only go off of my own experiences. I do have a couple of friends that are in the profession, and I will tell you what I know, what I think works, what I really appreciate myself, and we'll go from there. I definitely am a creative person, and I am also a writer, so I know what has helped me, and writing has really helped me tremendously in my recovery to get feelings out, but also just to express myself and use my voice. I guess I would say of the alternative therapies, art therapy is probably the most well-known. I'm sure almost all of you, if not all of you, have heard of art therapy. Usually it is done in a therapist setting or in some sort of hospitalization facility, some sort of program that you're doing, whether it's outpatient or inpatient. And art therapy is a special time where you use art to express yourself, get out your emotions, and in short, help yourself to recover. I'm going to post a link to the American Art Therapy Association, and I know that not all of you are Americans, but nevertheless, hopefully you can find some of their statements helpful. Basically, the organization states right on the homepage that they are diverse, engaged, and creative professionals dedicated to the belief that the creative process involved in making art is healing and life-enhancing. And it just talks about artistic expression and the healing journey. And that link will be in the information box below the video or on the side of the video, depending on how you're watching it, since YouTube doesn't let you post links to separate websites in the actual video itself. For any of you that like to draw or paint or do some kind of art, it can be really therapeutic, and I'm sure you know that even if you're not involved in, art therapy per se. Just the act of doing something like that can be really comforting, really healing, really nurturing. It can give you some alone time. It can also let your mind wander. You can put things out on paper that maybe you can't say. It can just be a really beautiful thing. Same thing goes for writing. There are a lot of workshops that have to do with journaling, that have to do with writing poetry, things like that. Definition is basically writing therapy is a form of expressive therapy that uses the act of writing and processing the written word as therapy. It posits that writing one's feelings gradually eases pain and strengthens the immune system. And I'm sure a lot of you have found that if you write things in your journal, you don't keep them inside, they don't fester inside of you, and you're able to get that pain out even if you can't say it, or it enables you to get the pain out instead of taking it out on your body by starving or binging or purging or cutting or any of those things. I found some pretty good stuff when I was researching this, actually, that you can do writing therapy online, sort of like a mail-in system, or by doing it remotely. You can do it with a therapist in person. You can also do it with a therapist sort of remotely over the web, or you can do the sort of mail-in process that I just mentioned. But it's just pretty cool that obviously people put a lot of stock in this writing therapy the same way they put a lot of stock in the art therapy. And I, for one, really think that writing helps. I have written ever since I was a little girl, and my eating disorder didn't start when I was a very, very little girl, but I was already writing at that point, so I already knew that it was a way to express myself. When I was basically in the throes of my eating disorder, which was anorexia, I would write, and sometimes what I wrote was dark and sad, and it wasn't anything that necessarily would have helped other people the way that I tend to write now, but it was helpful to me because it allowed me to get my feelings out on paper. I just think that keeping a journal can be one of the greatest tools that you have. It can be one of the greatest gifts that you give yourself. Sometimes you can even look back on things that you have written years ago. I've done this, and you can just see how far you've come, and that is therapy in itself. It's so therapeutic to see, oh my goodness, I was at this place 5 years ago and now I'm at this place. Look how far I've come. I can really see it since I'm reading my words on a page. I feel like a different person. I'm so glad that I overcame all those problems. It's just very eye-opening. It's a very eye-opening experience. It's also something that it's hard to see just in a day-to-day process. It's a lot easier to see it when you actually look back and flip through those pages and remember what you were feeling at that time and understand the way you're feeling now, and hopefully you're in a better place in the future and not a worse place. But journaling gives you an eye into yourself that few other things do. I know a lot of people do writing therapy, for example, when they are going through bereavement. Part of grieving a loss, a lot of therapists have people do writing therapy for that. I mean, they do art therapy for that as well, but that's one of the main things that comes to mind when I think writing therapy. And there's no reason that it can't work for your eating disorders, since a lot of people do grieve their eating disorders because it's a loss to them. You are letting go of something. You have to move on with your life without that thing. So it's very much true to form that writing therapy can help for that as well. I'm going to post a link for the American Dance Therapy Association. Again, I know you're not all Americans, but they still have some really excellent stuff on this website. Hopefully you can find helpful. Since it's pretty much, I mean, I don't know if there are British dance therapy associations or Australian dance therapy associations, or, you know, wherever you might be from. I kept finding American websites, so I don't know if dance therapy and writing therapy are just more prevalent in the United States, or if their websites are just easier to find. Well, the Dance Therapy Association website says, promotes the use of dance and movement as powerful tools for mental and emotional health, maintains high standards for education, training, and professional practice for dance movement therapists. And I actually have a friend that is in grad school to become a dance therapist, which I just think is awesome. And I have to be honest, I didn't really hear anything about that before I became friends with her a couple of years ago. I just think it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing process to go through for people that already have a love of dance. It can be really helpful. A lot of dancers already do develop eating disorders or have eating disorders. I know eating disorders are very prevalent in the dance world, so to have something like dance therapy but using it for the good of your body and to heal yourself just seems like an amazing thing. Pretty much, I am a believer that anything you truly love can be a therapy of some sort. Gardening can be therapy, baking can be therapy, sewing, knitting can be therapy. Something that just really makes you feel good, really nurtures you, really comforts you, is for the good of you and not the bad of you, can really be a helpful tool. So if there's anything that you love, anything that you enjoy that makes you feel really good while you're doing it, let that be your form of therapy and go for it. I also think writing therapy, art therapy, dance therapy, things like that are really great ways to give back and to help others once you feel that you are in a place that you're healthy and you have a love for those things. If you're a dancer, or if you're a writer, or if you're an artist, and you also have a sort of calling to be a therapist or a social worker, something like that. So that's a big reason why I posted the links down in the information box, or over in the information box, for those different associations, because I know there are a lot of people out there that have a deep interest in writing or in art or in dance, and they also have a deep interest in helping others. They really want to give back. They feel that they have made a lot of progress, and they know what it's like to struggle with an eating disorder, or with abuse, or with depression, things of that nature. You can be whatever you want to be, and there's a place for you and a place for your work in this world, and there are a lot of people that need help, and a lot of people that are seeking that creative outlet as their way of getting help. Have a great week, everyone. I hope you are doing well, and I will see you next week.